In this final lesson, we're going to take care of adding some details to our texture. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish off our texture. And from here what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll go to our shiny gunmetal, the scuffed shiny gunmetal. And we're going to, actually, you know what, let's add another material to this. So on this, we're going to do add material. And I want to add kind of a dried mud material. Just want to make this a little bit dirtier. So here's dried mud. Go ahead and left click on that, click create. It's going to create that material. It's going to place it over the entire surface of the gun. But I don't want it to do that. I want to create a mask for this, and I want to tell it where to place this dirt. So to do that, we've been right-clicking on our mask and choosing the ID, but I want to actually create my own mask. So I'm going to left-click on it, and you'll see that it brings up our Dynamask editor. And we can choose where we want this material to apply. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to this sandy dirt. And let's left click on that. And with that selected, it should show us what that is going to be applied to. So this is a preview of our mask. We can make some adjustments to this if we like, but I'm perfectly okay with that. I like the way that looks. We can go ahead and we can take a look at maybe some other previews. That's where some more dirt's going to collect. I'm not really happy with that. This is really going to collect the dirt. Maybe some edge tarnish, maybe something like that. Okay, maybe top fumes here. Well, we'll get a little bit of dirt to collect in some of those cavities and stuff, but not really what I'm looking for. We have this dirt here we can add to that, and that's just going to place it around maybe the bottom edge. A few places here and there. That might work okay, but I don't think it's quite exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the sandy dirt. Okay, and that's going to really place it on there. It's going to really make this pop. And so we're going to hit done. And we'll see that new material apply over the surface of our weapon. So notice how that makes it look a lot dirtier, more used, and it just gives it a nice, genuine look. Now we can draw down some of these values here, so we can adjust something like the scale, make that a little bit tighter, a little smaller, okay, in some of these areas. So looking at the scale on that, not too bad. Okay, pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that. I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. So nice and dirty. It's being used quite a bit. Notice it's all over the handle as well. And so we don't want this to look new. We don't want it to really look threatening. We just want it to look old and you know, just gets the job done, I guess. So not very well taken care of. All right, so now with that, we could add even more detail to this if we wanted to. We can go in and we could start adding in things like, you know, smudges or things like that. Quixel does a great job with creating textures like this, really great. And you can see just how quick we created this texture. Very, very handy tool, super impressed with it. Now that we've got this set, now what we want to do is we want to be able to get this texture and we want to put it on our game mesh. So to do that, let's go up here to open the exporter. And then here we can set up how we want this to work. So we're going to have the name of the project, or the name of the object, LP_frame. We could go ahead and call it LP_revolver. And then you'll want to change the suffix of your map. So you can have it display what the full map is or just the first letter of that. I'm going to go ahead and do that, just the first letter. The file type that you want for that, and then everything else we'll leave alone. Okay, and so we also want to set our path to that. So set it to whatever file you want. I'm going to go ahead and set it to the images folder where we had in 3ds Max. Alright, so once that path has been set, you can see it preview here, and then you'll just simply export. Now you'll wait for that to finish up, and then we can go ahead and we can apply those maps to our object. So just to do that, let's go ahead and go into our file here. I want to go back to a previous file here before we did this projection. I'm going to go to 67_end, and I'll go ahead and I'll rename that to this lesson here so that way you can find it easier. So just to kind of preview the maps, let's go ahead and just go in and add those to this. Now we're just going to add in our diffuse color map to this. We're not going to get into the metalness or anything like that. We can apply those in our game engines where they belong, or you can bring them into something like Marmoset Toolbag to preview those and render those out. I'm going to go ahead and find my bitmap here. Alright, so taking a look at our texture, you can see that we have LP_revolver_A. Remember, that's albedo. So we want to go ahead and open that, put that into the diffuse color, and double click on our bump. We'll use normal bump, and then we'll double click on that, go to bitmap, and then we're going to use the normal map that's with that. You could go ahead and use this normal or this one. Well, actually not that one. This normal or this one should be the same. Let's go ahead and use this normal map because remember the Y is correct here. So let's go ahead and use this one. Let's open that. And then we'll simply apply this to our game mesh, and there it is. So you can see that here in the scene. If you really want to, you can go ahead and turn on materials, realistic materials with maps. Now obviously this lighting does not do it justice. It does look a little off here, but once you take that into a game engine, you apply all of those maps for your spec, your glossiness, your metalness, everything's going to look really, really great. So I hope you guys learned a lot from this. That is a long course. We went through the high poly modeling of this revolver. You've learned tons and tons of tools and tips and techniques for creating high poly weapons, high poly modeling just all together. How to take that high poly model, re-topo it to create your game mesh, how to UV it, and set up your smoothing groups, how those two have a great relationship with one another to create perfect normal maps, and then how to take those maps and bring those into something like Dedo and create these textures. So I hope you guys had fun. I know it was a long journey, and I'm proud that you made it to the end, and I hope you guys see me next time. I had fun. So see you.